Welcome back to another review by Mega Train Lover. Today we're having a look at a Bachmann model, as you can see, and you can tell from the box that this is a fairly old Bachmann locomotive, although the actual tooling itself is still being produced at the moment, but a new one will be coming out in the new year. And you can probably tell that this is a second-hand model which I got yesterday at the Tolworth show train for a really good price. The price on the box, it does say £67, but the person working at the store reduced it to 60 for me. But you know, for this particular locomotive, that is a bargain price. You can probably guess, we've probably guessed from the title already, but the loco in the box, as you can clearly see, is a Class 47. This particular one is in the attractive British Rail two-tone green livery, which was the original livery that these locos appeared in, and this particular one is numbered D1507. Now if we turn to the side, it is the wrong box. As you can see, it does say D1500 there, but I believe that this particular one was custom renumbered, and it's also been weathered as well, but for 60 quid. As you see, it's at 67, but as I say, I got this for 60 quid, bargain price, especially considering the fact that most of the Class 47s nowadays by Bachmann go for about 160, 170 pounds, and the new example, which will be introduced in the new year, will be selling for over 200 pounds, which is a horrendous price for a locomotive. Apparently it will have new features such as an operable fan which can be independently run by the decoder and other things like that, but I don't know, £200, over £200 for a loco seems quite excessive. This particular one, despite it being in an old packaging, is actually a modern one. It's actually, well, it's one which is still being produced today, so the tooling is still more or less the same, because this one has a 21 pin decoder, and as you'll see, it looks really nice. Now before we get into unboxing the locomotive, we'll get on to a bit of history. I won't go into enormous detail because the Class 47, I think everyone knows about them. They are one of the classic British diesel locomotives. There were 512 of these built between 1962 and 1968, making them the most numerous type of British mainline diesel locomotive ever produced. Now the most produced type of diesel locomotive ever was the Class 08, of which there were 996 built, but those were diesel shunters. In terms of mainline diesels, these were the most produced, 512. They were built alternately at Brush Traction and British Rail Crew Works, and they were used on various different duties. They could be used on passenger trains, goods trains, you name it. Class 47s could pull them, and they were used all around the country. So you know, if you could go as far north as Scotland, or up down to the Midlands, or even down south, these were used all over the country. They were very popular as well on cross-country duties. Withdrawal started in the late 1980s, and it carried on through the 90s and the 2000s as well, although there were still several in service in the 90s. But obviously over the years, as more modern diesel locomotives such as the Class 66 and such, and the 67s were introduced, obviously the 47s were withdrawn, because you know, as iconic and reliable as they are, you know, they are pretty old engines now, but amazingly, despite their age, there are still about 78 of them left. I think 30 of them are mainline registered, and they are actually in somewhat regular service, and obviously there are quite a number of these preserved. I'm not entirely sure of the exact figure, but quite a lot of heritage railways do have these. Today, I mean, if I was to name all the preserved examples, I would go on forever, but there are still quite a few of these remaining, and quite a few of these still in service. Not passenger service, but some goods work, some permanent way duties, all over. Obviously there are 30 locomotives in the late 90s, early 2000s, which were converted into Class 57s with new engines, but that is a completely different engine on its own because of their modifications. But anyway, and also obviously with their longevity in service, they've been in various different liveries, but the livery we're looking at today is the one which they first appeared in the 1960s. So what we're going to do is we're going to unbox the locomotive. This is the older style Bachmann packaging with the polystyrene box. So we just lift the flap, we pull out this end, being very, very gentle, just making sure the flap does not pull off anything. Although there isn't much sort of separately fitted detail on the site to speak about. And then just carefully grabbing, there's 2 holes on the back. As you can see, just push the loco out, and there it is. Here is the Class 47 D1507. Sorry. Oh my gosh. Wow. What can I say? I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, for a start, I don't think it was. Not sure if this is factory or custom weathered, but the weathering effect is really, really nice. I mean, you can clearly see some sort of I forgot what it's called now. But obviously, that's where the exhaust is. So the exhaust marks would obviously be coming out of there and then settling on the roof. And also the underframe is a more sort of brownish colour, which is prototypical, because obviously as these go along the track, these obviously pick up all sorts of debris and stuff from the track. Obviously dust, and of course you've got brake dust as well. But yeah, so the weathering is really, really nice. I even like the weathering on the windows, where the windows are fairly dirty, except where you can obviously see the windscreen wipers have been at them. We'll start at the front. I mean, come on, that is such a classic appearance. That is a really, really classic appearance of the Class 47s. You see, it's got the head code box. These were interchangeable in real life, but on the model they're not. I mean, it would have been nice to have that, but it still does look really, really nice. As you can see, it's heading a train 1 Echo 29. Not sure what region this particular loco worked at, but 1 denotes that it is an express passenger train. Echo denotes the destination, depending on the region it is, and then the 29 is just its unique number. So obviously there will be several other trains with 1 Echo, but they're the last 2 digits of what identify an individual train. And this system is still in use today, albeit not in this way. It's all done with computers now. You see, you get a coupling chain, which I'm pretty sure has been added on, and I just actually knocked it. Yep, there we go. That's fine. It's all fine. You get sprung buffers. Even the buffers themselves, I mean, they do look a bit wonky, but never mind. But even the buffers themselves have had sort of dents in them, which is really, really realistic. The lights do work, so you get. Not sure about the cab lights. I haven't tested the cab lights yet, but the head code box lights up when the loco's coming towards you, and when it's going away from you, the 2 tail lights work. And there is even a switch on the bottom, which, if you are pulling rolling stock, you can switch it off, and it turns the tail lights off as per reality. As you can see, there is a driver in the cab, and I also like the subtle touch where the window is being left open, as it would have been in real life. The cab doors do not open, but that's absolutely fine. Some of the Hornby diesels have that, but it is a bit of a novel feature, which you're not really going to make use of, because, well, I mean, if you're trying to simulate a driver getting into the cab, your fingers basically going to get in the way anyway. So, but yeah, you get all the holes here for sort of the brake piping. Now this loco didn't come with any detail packs. I'll try and source some detail packs, but for the moment it looks fine. It's absolutely fine. For 60 quid for a loco, of this size, I really can't complain, because it is just absolutely beautiful. The fans look really, really nice, and they do spin. They do spin if you blow on it, but they don't actually rotate. So on some of the Hornby diesels, we had a drive belt connected to the flywheel that rotated the fans. These ones only rotate if you blow on them. And you can see you get all the roof detail which has been painted, so you get all these panelling for the engines. Grills are actually, you know, grills as they're supposed to be. Not sure what this particular, this is the exhaust, but I'm not entirely sure what this, I think, actually I know what this is. This is for the steam heating boiler. This is the chimney for the steam heating boiler, which these engines were fitted with initially before they introduced electric train heating, as were all British diesels introduced. You get the modern high voltage stickers. I mean, probably one of the most striking things about this loco definitely is the livery. I mean, just look at it. It's so beautifully applied. This two-tone green. It's absolutely beautiful. Really, really nice. The bogies, the bogie detail looks really, really nice. And you see they're not clean, which is how they're supposed to be. That's the whole, weathering effect. But they do look really, really nice, as you can see. And speaking of weight, the loco, as you'd expect, is really heavy. I'm actually having slight trouble holding it because it is quite heavy. And I have to sort of reach around the tripod. But no, that definitely will not have any issues whatsoever with traction, as the real life engines didn't either. If we go to the back, you can see you now get a different head code. This one is 0 Mike 00. This is basically denoting the loco's non-running end. That's just, they just kind of left it like that. Obviously the front of the end, well, I mean, to be honest, this engine doesn't really have a front and rear because it can be driven from both ends. But, a lot of people would put their diesel locos with the fans, where the fans are. And in this case, where the driver is, certainly that's the direction I'll be running this loco later on. But if we look at the back, you can see you get the same level of detail as on the other end. This end there is no coupling hook, but that's fine because the tension lock coupling is here and I don't want it interfering with it. You get sprung buffers on this end. Again, you get the sort of effect on the windscreen wiper, the weathering effect. And there's a number, the 1507. I think this was a renumber, but I'm not entirely sure. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it came like that. I don't know. I mean, it came in the wrong box anyway. But yeah. Also forgot to mention that you do get the separately fitted lamp irons there, and the lights work at this end as well. Cab lights, I will need to check for the cab lights to see if there are any, and because I haven't done that. Yeah, I know quite a few of these do have cab lights, but we'll just have to see if this one has any. But yeah, if we turn to the other side, it's pretty much the same as the side we just looked at. It's got these, the little windows where the engine room is. But yeah, I mean, all in all, it's just a beautiful looking engine. Really, really nice. And for the bargain price I purchased it for, absolutely worth the money. I really, really like it. However, detail may be one thing. Let's just see how the engine actually performs. So here we have the Bachmann BR two-tone green class 47 on the track. Now, before we give the engine some power, I have checked and the engine does not have any cab lights, which is fine. I mean, I don't think they had them at the time that the time of the locomotive's packaging, but it's fine. We can live without cab lights. Anyway, it does have working lights, as I mentioned. I'm just going to quickly demonstrate. You see, just switch the lights on, so you can see the head code light lights up when it's going towards you. When it's going away from you, you can see you get the two tail lights. So we're going to run it in this direction, give it some power, and off she goes. here she goes. Wow. I mean, I've put this to halfway speed, but I'm just in awe of how smooth she was. Now, I have given her a run in, but even before I gave her a run in, she was running beautifully. I just didn't want to say anything to not spoil, to basically avoid any spoilers in the review. But my God, I mean, wow. Hardly any noise from her. It's just such a beautiful work. Anyway, let's put a few line side shots. So yeah, as you can see, she is running absolutely beautifully. I really cannot say anything else. Just in awe of how smooth and quietly she's running. And she is all axle powered, or all wheel powered rather, so all 12 wheels are connected to a shaft by twin flywheels. And it's just absolutely beautiful. Just to conclude this video, I definitely recommend it. I think anyone who collects model railways has to have a Class 47 in some form or another in their collection. For me, the Bachmann one is really this particular one is really good. So if you can get your hands on a Bachmann Class 47, definitely recommend it, because it is a beautiful locomotive. And obviously it's a classic. I mean, come on, a Class 47 and a Class 37, obviously, they are classic British diesel locomotives. Absolutely amazing. Really impressed with this model. Great price. I mean, really, the price for the money is amazing. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, and see you in the next review. Goodbye.